All right, art students, welcome back. And this is part 5. I am sure of that because I just finished looking at part 4. So we went over a good amount of perspective. We did the interior, exterior, people in perspective. So if you haven't seen that, go back to the other videos and then check that out, and then you'll be caught up. So now I want to start getting into more detail of doing the anatomy, male and female, and because the goal is for you to be able to draw something without having to look at a picture and draw it. You already know about what the body's shaped like and what it would look like when you twist it and turn it, so you can be able to put it down and add arms and legs and head and so forth, and you won't need to look at any other reference for the body. So what I have in my book, the Action Pose, I have broken down the body in just the pieces, the parts, as simple as they can be. These shapes are extremely simple. You've got circles, oval, almost, the house, the rectangles, almost cones, squares, triangles, half of triangles. So this stuff is pretty simple to do, and these shapes will not be really hard to be able to draw and twist and turn. And you got like 25 pieces, and a lot of them, like these, the circles are just used for elbows and elbows and knees. So it's pretty simple. And where's the next page? When you break it down and stack them together, I mean, that's all it is. It's really, really simple. The problem is people want to try to draw every muscle first, get your shapes down, and then know how they twist and turn, and then you'll be able to draw. Like this guy's really not muscular, but it does have the muscular or the curves to make it muscular. So you don't see any cuts in the chest or in the abs and any extra leg muscle, but that would be a perfect body for a hero. So let's get going with drawing the body. As I said, there are 25 little pieces in there to draw, but what I want to start out with is the torso. I'm going to kind of break down each piece and twist it and turn it and bend it, and then we'll start kind of like working our way up from there. Since the torso, to me, is the most important part, because the torso basically holds everything together, and that brings your action to your character. So the torso is just an oval. Whenever I start, it's just the oval. Now the torso is basically the rib cage, which is actually shaped like this. And what is the back? The back is kind of like comes down like this. And then you have your, whatever this part is, and your spine in the back. So that's basically your rib cage, and then you have your collarbone up here, which connects to the bone for your delt, and your bone comes down. So basically, we're doing this shape right here. Let me get a pen, not you. So everybody knows how to draw. Okay, it's time for me to throw you away. We all know how to draw the circle or the oval, and it's just like taking a bite out of it. I call that the tunnel. So when I first started, I taught myself how to draw. I love comics, and of course, if you look at comics, if you love comics, you're gonna want to learn how to draw some of those characters. So I taught myself to draw, and I just started breaking stuff down, and I just looked at stuff, and I said to myself, okay, this connects to here, and this connects to there. Like, just for instance, I'll say, okay, these fingers are not straight. They actually go back a little bit like this to like one point. So that's how I started measuring stuff and seeing how it was, and I started doing it. So you have your oval, not a circle, more of an oval, almost like you would do the head, but the head would be more of a deeper oval. Your center line, half of that would be like the chest, and then you would have your collarbone going down, not at the top. Bring it down, because these would be your shoulders. You want some leftover for your shoulders. So about right there, and then right under that. So let's do this first. From here, I don't usually go straight down. I'll kind of curve mine like this, just curve it in. And then at the bottom, I'll have my circle like that. All right, so that would be my torso. And then I have a V right here, and that V is going to determine where the neck is. And of course, I have my delts, which is going to go almost halfway to the chest, just circles or ovals like that. So that would be the front of your torso. So let me do that again. You have the circle or this oval, center line. Usually I'll do the top first, my shoulders first, or my collarbone first. Then realistically I'll do this, but let's just go with the chest, like halfway down chest. Then this, and where this point and this point connects, and this point and this point connects, because it's not straight down. The opening for your abs is not straight down. You have to have room for your love handle. So from that point, I would curve it in like that, and then have my V for my neck. All right, so now if you take that and you turn it to the side, you're still going to get that oval. It might not be as spaced out. It might be a little thinner. You're going to get your front line is going to be here, your collarbone, or your collarbone. Yeah, collarbone is going to be across here. Your chest is going to be halfway, and this is going to be like this. All right. And then you're going to have this. It's going to curve around. So at this point is where your delt is going to go. So your chest is here. You have this, that, and there. So this is sideways now. You still have this. And then your neck is going to go here. It's going to come up and go here. So your head is going to be like this, just in case you couldn't see that. Because that neck comes down and goes right into that back. All right, so we have this. So what I would do is I would curve this in like that. That's going to be that chest, and then I would bring that in some here and then down, because your abs are going to be here and there, and then your love handle is going to be right there. So that's going to come in and then down like that. But we're not going past this. We're just doing the delt. Get it together. We're just doing the torso. Okay, again, you're gonna do this oval, not so much round as this. Okay, so your center line is in the front. So we're gonna get that collarbone right here, and it's just gonna go back until the top of this. It's not gonna go all the way back, but just for drawing's sake, we're gonna take it all the way back. This could be like that center again, as I say. And then just below that, you're gonna have this little, I don't know, take a bite out of it kind of thing, just the half crescent thing. All right, so from here to here again. So wherever this is, you can kind of like curve it around, just like this, curve it around, and wherever that curve falls, that's where your delt is going to be, right there, right kind of behind that. And then your chest comes up. Your chest is gonna come up from behind the arm. It's going to curve here, and as I said, I'll bring mine out a little bit more, and I'll bring this part in some more, right? And then of course your neck is going to go, is that V for your neck right there. And then of course your abs. Notice there are no abs in here, but then I just put them in here just for the sake of it. And then you can put abs in here. And a lot of times your abs kind of go straight down. They don't follow this. Your side walls don't follow this line. They curve and they go in. Because a lot of times if somebody really defined, you'll see that a dark space right here, like a dark divot space. I don't know what they call that right now. And then you can do your abs. Usually, this could be like your second ab. This could be your first ab. Depends on how wide a space you have. Second abs, and then you go down, and the way this curves around is your love handle. Not too far out though. I'm resisting to go any further. So at this point, which I forgot, your chest is going to curve in. So your chest is going to be like this, because of course that curves right into your arm, right into that delt, which we'll get into later. So if I'm doing a 3/4, I'm going to have more of the oval again, not so much circle-ish, but more like, still more like that, because he's turning. Because this part is, how can I say? Just think of it as being round. It's being round like this, but it's not round. It's more of a squished like that versus round. But just remember the thing being round itself, and then it will help you out. So I'm doing a 3/4. I'm doing this, and I want to, all my videos I want to stop at 30 minutes because I know people don't have that, what do you call that? I can't think of that word. I tried to say that last video and I can't think of it. Attention span. People want their microwave meals. They want a cook meal in a minute, 30 seconds or less. They don't want to wait for, an hour to eat or an hour video to learn. So my center line is here, so I'm going to shift it over to about here. And it doesn't make a difference how far it's shifted. It'll still work. I can put it here. I can put it right. All right, sorry for this little skip. My phone, somebody called my phone. It's bad when you film with the same phone that you talk with, because people will call you and interrupt you. So we have this line, and this curve, this amount of curve should be the same amount of curve right there, because you don't want it flat, because then it looks like you're going forward, because when you go forward, that line is flat. Same thing here. I used this before. Which way is it? It's this way. If you look at it, you have the opening for the abs, you have your chest, you have your delts going here, and you come up with the line of the neck. So this represents the torso on a ball. So this line is straight up and down, but when you curve it, it's going to have just as much curve on that line as the actual ball does. So just remember that. And this is that center line. This is that side line, your two side lines, which is, I'm looking at the camera, which is here and here, and then it curves at that point. So right here at this sideline, it curves and it goes up into the delt. Same thing. So yeah, I try to use as much examples for you guys so you can see it. So remember, it's not going to go flat. It's going to have just as much curve as your actual outer curve and inner curve. All right, so again, my collarbone, my chest, and then, well, for here, let's do that again. Let's do this curve right here, and then you can do the, I call it the tunnel sometimes I call it the mountain, like that. So just remember, if you, how can I say that? You want to stop it, you want to continue it so that it fits. If you can't just stop it like that, because it's not going to go up and come down like this. Some people might try this, and it comes down like this. It doesn't do that. It's gonna go all the way over and stop right there. But I mean, if you have to bring it, and then just erase it. And then again, you're gonna have your delts. Remember, I'm saying it because this is the first time I'm saying it. With this one, your delts come out. Your delts come basically off of this thing. Here's your collarbone all the way across, and your delts kind of like hang off of this, right off the edge of that, right off the edge of that. So with this one, because you're turning, it's going to come more inside. It's still going to go off the edge, but it's going to come on the inside of this right here. And this one is going to go behind. So that's a 3/4 view. So we have this. So I'm going to do my my V for my neck. Again, and that's, since that goes around, curve that up. And then your neck goes here, and then your head will go there. And you have to be mindful of how much space you have here and there. But I always add more to the shoulder. This is not like shoulder complete. This is just part of the circle. And then when I finish, I always add more shoulder to make that person or that character look a little more bigger, shall we say. So again, here's my chest. I'm going to curve it. I'm going to turn it at this line. It's going to go up. You know, you can make it straight up, but then you're going to curve it later. And the same thing with this. You're going to curve it, and it's going to come down here. I'll always bring that past that line. I'll come here, and here's my line. Let's do it in blue. Here's my line on my circle. I will always bring that chest out more past that line to give it more of the ballooned bodybuilder chest, and I will bring this part in like that. Unless the guy's your average guy, he's got like the flat chest, he doesn't, doesn't do any bench press, then you can have his chest like that. But then I'd have it more narrower. Or I won't connect the lines. I'll do something like this, and then the line here, and then maybe there. Leave the chest open, like here's that part there, and it kind of gives them that I'm not too muscular look, and then I'll have that line come. We're talking about this right now. I have that line come all the way around, and then give him just a little bit of abs, and then of course here's my arm for that. So his chest is not connected, so he doesn't look really big and muscular. Maybe turn that a little bit in here, and his arms there, like that, and then same thing. I don't connect all the muscles to make it look like he is muscular. So we have the front, we have the side, we have 3/4. It's the same thing on the other side. Let me just draw it for those that might have a hard time doing it. Ovalish. I'm going to bring that line over a little bit more. Collarbone. So they're like, let me count. Okay, so you circle, you got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 lines for the torso, and then you want to add your delt. Delt's a different part. It's definitely a whole different part of it. I'm just putting the delts on to let you see how it would go, to make it seem more almost finished. So, and then you have your neck, the V for your neck, and then it's done. You curve at this line going up into your delt. Your delt, because it is turned, your delt is going to come inside. It's not going to be on the outside like this, because I used to do that when I first got this thing together. For some reason, I would start drawing, and my delt would always be way out here off of the line, and I would always see that something wasn't right, but the rest of the picture looked good because I had everything else down, and I'm like, what? This is something, and I really couldn't figure it out, and then I realized when you turn, this is going to come in as well. Let me see if I have something to, let's use this again. And let's say this. Okay, so let's just say this is the delt. Or let's do something smaller. Let's say this is the delt on the guy. All right, it's right on the outside, but when I turn it, it comes more on. It comes on the inside. If that made any sense. If I had a ball, it might better. It kind of goes in more. Yeah, actually, what I'm saying is it covers up. I guess that would be the best way to say it. If this is like this, here's my chest. It comes up to my collarbone. My delt would not go out here. It would cover up some of this chest right here, because as I turn, it turns as well. There's my ball again. So the more I turn, if this is my chest, this is my delt, the more I turn that torso, the more this ball comes in as well, okay? So just remember that. Don't have that on the outside. Bring it on the inside as it turns. The same way you would not have this whole thing out like this. You would not have that unless his arm is coming across him, then you would see some of it. So that would be covered. All right, now, what would happen if you bend down? You bend forward. Let's do a top. I'll use the back of this, save some of my paper. Paper's expensive. The top of it, okay, come from the front, you have this. The front, you have more of an opening. The side, you have more of a ovalish. I've opened that more. Depending on how wide or thick the guy is, I would open that up more. This would be more ovalish from the 3/4 view. This is the front. Same thing from the side. I'll make it a little more narrower, and then the chest is going to be here and so forth, and then the back is going to be here. The chest is going to be here, delt, arm, like that. So taking these shapes, when you look at it from the top, it's more this way, kind of the same way, but it's more of an oval that way, okay? Because you have let's split that in half, and then you want to have that V. So this is your center line, just for the top. Let me put a head right here. This is his head, okay? He's looking up at you. He's smiling. He's like, hello. All right, so you can't see the neck. The neck is going to be right at the center of that collarbone. So that collarbone is going to be a V like this, like that. The delts fit over top of that, and that center of that V, because there are three parts to the delt. You have this three heads, as they say. You have this one, this two, and this three. So basically like three muscles on that ball. And then the chest is going to come around depending on how muscular he is. And it goes right into the delt. And on the back, you have your traps, which are muscles, which is this part that I was saying. These are your traps up here. And they go up into the neck. They come around and they go up into the neck like this. And they go right up into your neck. So it's like, I don't want to call it a big piece of sausage. It goes up into the neck like this. One on both sides, and they're rounded like that. So my collarbone would be here and here. Collarbone would be there and there. This is the back, and this is your delts right here. And then it's your head right here. And that was from the front, not the back. So we have this, and your other delt would be right here. And the same thing as the chest, your back would be like this. So this and this come together. These two muscles come together, making another kind of a diamond shape, but these are curved because it's going to go around the back of the neck, around the back, and form the neck, should I say. And then they come to this little point here, this U shape right here. And then your delts go around that, connecting to the chest and to the back. Like that. Now that's going to be a top view. Now, if you want to take that view and you want to bend it down or bend it forward, what I do is I will do this again. And where is it at? This is a perfect example. I'll do this, and then I'll show just a little bit of the underside, doing that the same way, except bringing it more into a V shape. So I have this. Here's his head again, just because. Now, he is bending over. This character is straight up and down, straight at you. I want to grab one of my dummies, but he's kind of out of the way right now. And this is up and down, and then if I will just kind of like lift him up a little bit, or if he's up and I'm going to bend him over a little bit, you start to see this less and less and less until you don't see it. So what I'll do is that, and then I will do this, just this right here. Same thing as drawing this, except I will come back almost kind of like to a triangle, except I'll cut it off right here or wherever I need it. Depends on how much the person is leaning over, determines how much of this you see. So let's just keep going with this one. So I have this, then again, depending on how much of his neck you want to see, because when you bend it over a little bit, you're going to see more of this space here, which is where his neck is going to go. So I'll be like this. And remember, your neck, wherever that is, going to sit right in that center line, and you're going to have that V. So wherever that collarbone or wherever the neck ends, make that V right there, and that's your collarbone. Wherever your collarbone ends at this, you know your delt is there. And right here, you have your trap. So how much is showing, how much of the chest is showing depends on how much it leans over. So I want to bring my center line here and just say my chest is going to go here, and you know it connects here. Your chest comes up, it connects. And a lot of times I like to draw this as one piece. It just kind of makes it easier. So again, here's my one piece. I shouldn't have done this in ink, but that's okay. And then you have this part right here. Maybe I should have done it on another piece of paper. You have this part right here, which are your, there's a name there's a name for this thing here, because it comes down and then your ribs come around. So there's like, I don't want to say it's a muscle, the bone is like more of a muscle that people usually draw when they want the characters to have that extra set of abs. But that bone comes out because it's round like this, like that. That bone is out here. So when you lean forward, that bone is going to protrude, which is this right here. It's going to protrude because that shape is like this, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have your bones come here. Does it go like that? Yes, it does go like that, and it goes around. So I will have this opening, and again, it depends on how much he's bent over. I have this little opening, and it curves up, and then you may see just a bit of the ab, like that. So that's when you have your character bent over. And again, you can have this all the way around. You got your chest, you've got your collarbone, which is basically two pieces, two lines. And then you have your traps, which goes behind the head, and then you have your head here and some of your neck. That all depends on how much you bend it over. And another thing is, if I have my character, here's my character. It's getting hot in this room. Here's my character. Here's the pieces of the character that I had in the book, or that I have in the book. Break them down. Once you learn to break your pieces down, it's simple to draw. Okay, so you have your torso right here. And you have your love handles or your waist, and then you have your hip right there. Now, when you bend over, instead of that hip coming like down here, that's just the waist and then hip. You won't see this waist because that waist is going back. It's like if I use my hand right here and I bend it, you won't see it because this goes back. And your waist, your hips will not right here. Your hips are going to go up higher. I don't know if I can explain that or not. You're seeing this. So, okay, let me use blue. He's bending over, his hips, and let's say his buttocks is going to be like right here. Okay, this is his buttocks. If he's bending over, that's his buttocks from the back. So you see where that comes out. So your hips are going to come out way out here, somewhere up high, like that. All right, once again, let me apologize. Again, my phone was saying that I was full and it shut off. So if I can get back to where I was going, if you're bending over, let's just say like this. This is your torso, your hips, and this is the buttocks and the legs, right? This is your head. So if you bend over, this is going to stay the same unless you bend your knees. So your waist and your torso, like that, and there's your head. And again, the same thing. And if you bend over more, this goes like this, this is like this, and this is like that. If you bend over more, this is going to stay kind of like the same height. So you'll see less of this and even lesser of that. So that's the same principle as you see this, and it's coming down. You just see less and less of that and more of this. So it depends on how much you bend over. Let's do this. So we got this. We've got the head, and it also determines where the head is going to be at the top, or is it going to be like in the coming down, depending on your position, your action position. So it's like this, and then I can bring it down like this. But it's kind of all doing that triangle with a oval on the bottom. So if I finish it off, it would be like this. And then I'm going to do the bottom, or the part that you can't see, which could be right at your belt. It could be, you know, your second section of your abs. However, it depends on how much you bend down. But just know that as you bend down, this will come up on your front facing position. So let's just say I put the head here because he's not bent down that much. So I'm gonna put the head up higher. Here's my neck. Remember at the base of the neck, you're gonna see that V. You're gonna have that V, which is gonna turn into that diamond. And there's my delts here, right in the center. So I'm gonna bring my chest about right there. Then I'm gonna see this because he's not bent down that much. And I'm gonna see my abs. And then I'm going to get my, see a little bit of my love handles. These are gonna be placed closer together, the abs. And then you're going to see the upside down house or your hips. So if I use my pen that's really not working, of course, right where you have your love handles, which are right here, it's going to go down into that crotch. And then you have your legs and then your arms. However you choose to put your arms. You know what? I draw small for some reason. I need to start drawing bigger. And I said I was going to do that because one of these videos I was drawing so small, and I looked at it and it's like, yeah, it's small. It's big for me, but it might be small for you guys. So I'm going to start drawing a little bigger. So you have your just slightly bending over, and you're almost all the way bending over. Now, when you do positions, or when you're doing some, you know, hardcore drawings and you're doing that, it's best to tilt your character a little bit. Give it a little bit of tilt. And again, it depends on how much you want to see. You can keep the head straight. And then this is going to be here. My waist could be right here. You have your, it depends on your neck. So this is just going to be like a quick rough drawing. And it's just the same thing over and over and over again. It's just how much of this are you seeing? How much of the actual front are you seeing? That's all that is. And then you have your one arm here, and you can have one arm back, because the arms are like the easiest part, and we're going to get into that in a second. And then you can have your leg. I'll bring this waist, but remember, it goes up. The more you bend over, the more it's going to go up into the body. Just remember that. And then you guys like doing a run, but I mean, it's simple once you know your, what's the word, your shapes and how to kind of manipulate the shapes. Because when you run, you're going to tilt. You're not going to be forward, you know, unless I'm just doing just kind of like I'm about to attack you kind of position. You know, then I would do something like that. Spreading the legs a little bit more. But other than that, if it's some kind of motion or something, I would definitely tilt the body or tip the body. And I say when I bring it over, I try to keep this as one piece. It's just easier. And as I said, this is like three heads to the delt. We'll get into the delt in a second. If not this video, the next video, and then get into the arms. And then I want to do the actual, this with the arms on itself, you know, and bending and foreshortening and so forth. So that would be like in probably the next video maybe, because I've stopped this. This is like the third time I have to redo the video, so I don't actually know the actual length time-wise of the video. As I said, I want to keep it down to about 30 minutes. So the head, you can put the head up, you can tilt the head down. You know, if he's doing like a harder kind of a run, you can bring the head, but I wouldn't bring the chin any too far past the bottom of the collarbone, because then it kind of like looks like his head is falling off if you bring his head too far down. So yeah, let's get the delts going, and then next one we'll get the rest going. As I said, I don't know how long this video is at this particular time. So we already have this. One more time. Center line, more of an oval, not a circle. Center line, put that T like a cross. T, letter T, or a cross, not put it across, it's a cross. Then for me, I'll do this, but you can do this. Since you know that point, just bring it down. And then that could be pretty much where the tunnel goes. And just over the tunnel is the chest. And then curve it around. And I have more circle on this side than I have on that side. It's just, this is a rough sketch. So when you do yours, just make sure it is right. So your delt is pretty much, is it all the way? It's almost the length of your chest. And it comes in and it goes out like this. And your delt goes in. You have that muscle that goes in like this, and then it comes down, and your bicep is going to come under here, and at this point, and behind it is going to be your tricep. So the same thing. And this is where you get your those little striations from your chest coming like right here, and then when you bring your delt in like this, it just makes it look even better when you're trying to do that muscular chest. So once again, it's going to come right from under that line. So this is going to come up here, and it's going to curve in, like kind of making that point where that line is here. Your arm is going to be tucked under that line. So this is going to be like sitting right on top of that arm with a bicep, and then sometimes you may see some tricep. Sometimes you may not. If I'm trying to do somebody big, I'll give a little bit of tricep on there, because the tricep is the biggest part of the arm, biggest muscle of the arm. Your bicep is just a little tiny thing. So it's going to be like that. Remember, that comes up. It comes up to that collarbone. And as I say, that collarbone is actually like a bone, like two pieces. And it goes down. Now from here, if I needed to, I would add my lats somewhere once I got this shape established. Let's just do this. So this is my circle coming down here. And this pen is not, it's an off angle, so it's throwing me off here. So this is that. So if I had any room, I would throw my lats like there. If my arm is here, this is coming in, I'll throw my lats there. If my arms are up more, you'd see the lats. If I threw the arm up, so I'm always going to have that circle. It's going to be here. So if I'm doing my arm going up, it's going to be, the bottom is going to be the bottom part of this. Top is going to be the top of that. So wherever this line is here, your arm is going to come out from under that. So if I did this and I had my lats, I'd throw my lats out, just make it a little bit bigger because it comes around and it kind of connects with the shoulder. And then under here, I would have my, what is that called? What is it? Serratus, your serratus muscles of just these ribs. Comes up under there because behind your serratus muscles are your lats. And so this is going to be your collarbone. As I say, your collarbone's going to be there, so that's going to be your collarbone. So the more your arm is up, the more the collarbone is going to be tilted. So this one can go straight unless you're looking down. If you're looking down at the person, you're going to get that V shape all the time. Here's my torso. I'm looking down at them. The more you look down at the person, the more you're going to get that V shape right there. And then your head is going to be moving forward. Your chin is not going to be up here like if it would be if you're looking straight on at the guy, but it's tilted just like, what did I have? Let's use this. If this was the head, I have a head, but I'm too lazy to reach up. When you tilt it over, it's going to move forward. So that head is going to move forward. So it's going to be down here somewhere. It depends on how much you tilt, how much of the tilt, or how much you're looking down at the character. And your delt is going to go back here. It's going to go back more. It's not going to be right here off the edge of it. It's going to go back because you're looking at it. And it is shaped. It is shaped from the top. It's kind of shaped like this. And you have your 3 muscles, and this is going to be your shoulder or your traps here, and then your collarbone there. So your traps are going to be here, collarbone there, chest. And remember, this whole thing is round. So the chest is going to go around as well and up into that delt. As I say, if I'm tilting my character, I'll try to keep this one piece. One punch. One piece. And then you have your delts coming into this center. And then you have your collarbone and then your neck. And I say it depends on how much of a lean you have. Then coming down. And then coming down your waist. Your hips are not going to be right here. Again, it's going to be in the back. It's going to be what's the word? You're going to draw through this, and remember that's going to be round too. But you're drawing through it, so you can't see the roundness of it. And then here, and then of course your legs, which are going to be round too. And you're looking down at it. Yeah, we're not gonna get into the leg. We're gonna kind of gradually build up the character, but I want you guys to get this torso right first. That way, the rest of your drawing will be all right. So I was saying something about this, and I got lost. Of course, your neck. Remember, at the base of that, you're gonna have your neck comes up, and I put my chin usually right here. So if I'm doing the head, this is where my chin is going to be, right on that circle edge traps. If you put it down any further, it'll look like he's got a short neck or he's kind of looking down. If you put it up any higher, it'll kind of like he's got a long neck or he's looking up. And as I said, usually at the end of this, I'll add a little bit more shoulder. I won't follow that red line. I'll just add a little bit more shoulder to make my character a little bit more buff, depending on the size of the character that I'm trying to get. And I completely forgot what I was saying. So even at this, you're going to have this, you have that indentation as that arm moves. But you want to get a little more arm. This is going to get pressed up. So you want to give it an arm. You don't want it to be so stiff. So when his chest comes up, that's where your arm comes up, and then you put your delt on top of that. You don't want it to be so stiff. So I'm going to cut it right here. As I said, this is another 16 minutes added on to whatever I had, and my camera is filling up fast, and I don't know why. So I'm going to take it to a friend's and let him look at it. And try to erase whatever. It's like I got 5 gigs left out of 60 some, and I don't know why. And I erased everything that was ever on there. So that's gonna be it. I'll see you guys in part 6. Keep coming back.